Hello everyone, I'm Brian and welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started.
There is a solution.
Pranam Sadhguru. My question was like, obviously in a city environment, we always find it very constrained where to put the plants and how do we engage. I remember when I was in school, we had planted trees, and when I went there back after 10 years, I could still see that tree, and it happened with all of my friends.
I'm sorry to pause it, but I don't know why I'm turning my head thinking I could hear better.
And there was always an emotional connect with that, okay, what these are the trees that we had planted. In a city, obviously there is a responsibility aspect of it, but do you have any special ideas about like, where can we help in the sampling part of it, like putting the saplings, or
Yes.
where is the land to plant those trees, so that at least we can feel the action as well, not only just about, okay, not I
So,
I do something in social media.
there are two ways to do this now.
Kinda
One
hard to
thing
hear.
is you just contribute 42 rupees per sapling. I'm not saying only 42. How many trees do you want to do? That many. That's one way to do it. But you don't have the money, but you have the time, all right? This is always the case. Those who have the money don't have the time, those who have the time don't have the money.
That's actually, yeah. For the most part, true.
So, you don't have the money. Can't you raise 125 saplings in your home and after 1 year you hand it over to us? We will hold schemes and plans for all these things, how every citizen can participate, how every adult, child, man, woman, everybody can participate. These things will be unleashed, we will put it on the social media, how to do it, where to do it, everything. But in your home, even if you're living in an apartment home, 25 saplings you could raise, isn't it? You will have the joy of seeing them growing in your balcony. Possible or no? Even if you have a two-bedroom house, you can still do it. Yes or no? So you either give the money, or where we will do it in large-scale nurseries, which is more efficient way of doing, because gathering this from every home is going to be a serious challenge. Because transporting saplings long distances is going to cost us so much. We will be having nurseries all along the Kaveri basin, which is 83,000 square kilometers. I want you to understand the scale, you understand? It's 83,000 square kilometers of land, because this is a serious problem that in people's understanding, why we took up Vagari river is because it's a tributary. See, people, if you say rivers, you say… ask anybody, what are the rivers in India? They will say Ganga, Narmada, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. You must understand, Kaveri has 120 major tributaries and thousands of small tributaries. If the tributaries don't flow, Kaveri will not flow. Kaveri is only a destination, it's not a source. So, the basin includes all these 120 tributaries. If you don't enrich them, people think we are going to plant just on the side of Kaveri riverbank. That's not how it is. That is a simplistic campaign we did with Rally for Rivers just to make people understand 1 kilometer on either side. That is not the plan. You must understand this idea that catchment means people think it's somewhere in Madikeri or that Coorg area, that one valley is catchment. No. In tropical land, every square inch of land is catchment. You need to catch the water that comes down and hold it in the land, put it into the land, because it is not just the river, it is the aquifers. If the aquifers are not full, they will suck away all the river water. Water is not just about river. Right now, we are using Kaveri as an emotional pitch, but the real thing is, the soil should become enriched to hold water, and it is everywhere. That wherever you dig, there must be water, then only Kaveri will flow, otherwise she will not flow, land will suck it out. So, we will come out with all those things, but I want you to understand, all those things become more… See, suppose you raise 20 or 50 saplings in your house. For us to take it and plant it somewhere, because you will raise one species. Now that one species needs a mix of another 12-15 species, because otherwise agroforestry will not work. For the farmer, in 4 years there is a crop, in 7 years there's a crop, in 10 years there's a crop like this. For this we need various levels of species, and there are other grasses and bushes which also add to this. If you grow in your house, I'm not discouraging you, you must do that. We want that people's participation. But
Plant locally.
practically, that is not the best way to do. It must be located where we want. Otherwise, transporting one sapling from this place to that place, in the city we have to come and gather it from you. That's going to cost us a lot of money. Well, we can do it on a voluntary basis that all of you bring it to one place, but that preservation, let's say we gather it in some school ground, we have to water those saplings. If we cannot water there, it starts drying up, then the media will start making scandal out of it. See, these people got the saplings and they couldn't water it. I'm saying there are many complexities. I want you to understand, I'm made like this. When I sit down and look at something, I think of every damn problem there is.
I do that same thing. I try. That's the reason why I said this before, and I hope everyone does this, is anytime you make an argument, try to destroy your own argument. And that also goes with solutions too, or anything that you think of. Just try in a way to say how it can go wrong. That way you can get most of the issues solved right then and there. And this is why you need other people, because everyone thinks a little bit differently. So while I can never provide all of the, how to say, questions to my answers, I cannot break my answer necessarily, because I could probably never think of all possible scenarios. That's why I like bringing up my idea and hoping people can break them. If we can't, that means it's that much stronger, but if they can, that means it's a weak argument already.
Every damn problem there is. I don't tell all those problems to everybody around me because they will fear it'll not happen. For every problem there is a solution. It is just that we need to do in that precise manner, all right? Ask him, for every ball does he hit the same shot? Hello? No, for every ball there is a precise shot. Last shot was a great shot. This shot, the ball was different. If you try the same shot, you're back home. Isn't it? The same goes for every aspect of life. This strategic approach to ecological issues in the country has just never happened, do you understand, till now. This is the time to do it. If Rahul and his team really pitches for it, I think 500 million saplings will happen because at least there are 500 million people who will do it if they just say it.
Good evening, Sadhguru.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Came to hear you. So I have two questions. One is, when are we playing golf next?
I'm playing tomorrow, it's up to you.
Okay. My second question regarding Kaveri calling is, how would you influence a fractured government that Karnataka is blessed with to come forward and do something like even having subsidies, for example? What happened in Coog in August?
Don't go there, don't go there.
No, I need to go there because there's something very important that happened. What happened in Coog in August had collected 350 crores in the Chief Minister's Fund. 10% reached the people. Now we have a fractured government where we don't have the confidence the government will do something. So if you have a movement like Kaveri calling, how do you propose that you would be able to influence this fractured government to do something? People's involvement will be there because we collected 190 crores out of 350 crores that came into the Chief Minister's Fund. But nothing came to the people.
So about fractured political situations, so we must understand this. We have to work with the realities in which we live. I am not someone who asks for an ideal situation. I've always worked with the realities that exist right now. I must tell you this, we are a volunteer organization, about 4,600 full-time volunteers and over 9 to 11 million part-time volunteers. That means that simply means a whole variety of concoction of people. Every day somebody will come up to me and say, Sadhguru, I can't work with this person, she is impossible, I can't do it. I just… slowly they've all gotten this now. I tell them, see, in this world, this is the kind of people, they are there. Like this kind, this kind, this kind, this kind, this is how they are in this world. If you think your work is significant, what you're doing is significant, you have to work with these kind of people. None of them are okay. None of them are perfect people. Everybody has their own nonsense. You have to work with these people. But if you think you want to work with perfect people, you must go to heaven and today. So you drop this angst. In the existing reality, how to make something work is success, isn't it? If I had an ideal situation, I would have done this, that. That is not success. That is just wishful thinking, isn't it? Hello? In the given situation, we made something happen, this is success. Now if there was that kind of situation, I would have done this. This is just wishful thinking, isn't it? So let's not waste time on that. One way or the other, in the next couple of weeks, it'll sort itself out. Right now, this thing for incentives for the farmers, I think in Tamil Nadu it's moving in the right direction, simply because the crisis is staring in the face. So they understand action is inevitable. There's no more a choice. So they're moving, they're faster, going not as fast as I want, but it's going there. Before September, I think we will achieve that, the incentives for the farmers, because the budgetary requirement is not challenging. In Karnataka, we have presented this to the government, but as you said, it's fractured. When there is a fracture, there is pain. When there is pain, people don't do anything. That is a reality, but the thing will happen, there is time. So, we have a counter plan for this. If the incentive comes, we will go about campaigning in every village in the Kaveri basin. I want you to understand, this covers over 100 taluks. So this is many villages and over 5 million farmers. But we will campaign in such a way, every one of them will get the message that there is an incentive. And of course, government machinery also will announce that there is an incentive. Our business is to go and explain how to harness the incentive that's given. Because in this country, most of the incentive that the government has given, various schemes where thousands of crores are sitting, people do not know how to harness it. Because there is a huge problem of you have to fill 112 application forms, and not everybody has the endurance to last for the century of forms. They just get beaten halfway down, okay? So we will see how to facilitate this. But suppose they do not announce the incentive, then we are using the rally as a way to put pressure on the government. So both ways you must be with me, you understand? If the incentive comes, it is about doing activity. If the incentive doesn't come, it's about putting pressure on the government. Both ways it must work. Only then it's going to happen, because this is the realities of the nation. We better learn to work in that.
Hi, Sadhguru. I have two questions. One is…
Have you seen Lady Gaga? Huh? Have you? So you must hold the microphone like this, yeah.
Okay. The first question is, yes, many people will support this this campaign and this for planting the trees. But how can we assure that these trees which we plant will not get cut? And
no, they will be cut.
While growing.
Agroforestry means they will be cut.
While growing, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Why will I plant trees in my land that I cannot cut? Why will I do it? This is why nobody is planting. If only I can cut it and use it, and it's an economic process for me, I will cut and I will plant and I will cut and I will plant, this culture will continue. If you don't allow me to cut, why will I plant? Because first of all, you must understand, there is no free terrain for you to plant millions of trees. There is no such place in the country. If you want a farmer who has small patches of land to plant a tree, he
must
must
be
have the
incentive.
right to cut. This is a law that we're trying to change. Right now, there are laws that if you cut a tree in your own land, they will arrest you. We want that to go absolutely. We've released 18 species, but we want to release everything. That I can grow what I want and cut it when I want, and I do whatever I want with what I cut. It's nobody's business. Only then farmers will grow trees, not otherwise.
Very true, very true. And also, again, assuming I don't know exactly what the bill. I can't quite remember if he said it earlier on. Sorry, I'm scratching my eyes, really itchy. Again, on your land, absolutely, you know. But obviously, if it's not in your land, if it's in someone else's land or in the natural forest, you don't go chopping down trees like that. But yeah, I assume she meant like, because, you know, you plant the trees, you have to be able to protect it and water it maybe and allow it to grow. I thought she meant like, you know, ensure that no one goes in there and damage them or maybe pull them out or, you know, destroy the plants before they have a chance to grow. That's my assumption for that question, but maybe she did mean like, oh, don't ever cut it.
So only city people are thinking that farmers should plant trees in their land and not cut it so that you can go and enjoy it. It doesn't work like that. It's his land, it's his livelihood.
I'm sorry, but that's something that's also, again, the issue that I have with a lot of middle upper class Americans. Again, not necessarily my issue, but just generally speaking, I think middle upper class tend to have a lot of these kind of people. But I mean, there are wide varieties everywhere that you just don't understand certain aspects of like poor and laws and whenever they implement laws, they don't understand that it affects the poor the most because all they see around them is just they're in a sense equal in terms of economics, how much money they make and what they have around, while poor people are struggling. And don't get me wrong, I do believe I fell into that at some point. I mean, I'm not rich, but I mean but my surrounding areas are, you know, middle lower maybe. I don't know.
It must be cut, that's what I'm saying.
Move my mouse out the way.
And the second question is that you mentioned about confidence and clarity. My question is, how can we achieve clarity?
Understanding, I don't know.
Just sit down. See, suppose your eyes are a little foggy. You go and get glasses.
Oh.
Suddenly you wore your
scratch your
prescription glasses, suddenly everything is clear. You did not improve the world, you only improved your eyesight, isn't it? Hello? Suddenly the world looks better. The world you did not improve in any sense. So you must understand, confidence is about action. This is not about action, this is about the way I am. My eyes are clear. What I will do with it? I may plant trees, I may hit a cricket ball, I may hit a golf ball, or I may drive, I may do whatever nonsense I want, all right? The important thing is my eyes are clear. So I'm only enhancing my faculty. I'm not thinking of what to do. What to do is my choice. It is individual choice, everybody can do what they want to do. But your faculties must not become cloudy. One reason why, because this question came in terms of cricket, and this is very true with every aspect of life also, is your education systems have confused you that memory is intelligence. You remember some rubbish that you have read and write it, you're first rank. I never understood why I should write what I know. I never wrote anything in my test papers, always consistently I got 6 zeros throughout my education because I didn't understand why I have to vomit whatever I think I've read. So, we have misunderstood memory as intelligence. All these people are going to have a deep shock in the next few years because artificial intelligence is coming. My phone has 100 times more memory than you.
No, I think we have more memory than a phone, but it's just that we don't know how to use it very well. I think. But no, I get what he's saying, and it is honestly genuinely interesting. I do hear a lot of people, at least over here, saying like, oh, just because you have an education, you think you're smart, and it is kind of funny. I watched this one YouTube video. They had a whole wide range of people. And they had this very far leftist person that has a college education and PhD and all that, and then they had this guy that went into the military and only had a high school degree, I believe it was, and they ranked them all, and this person, this far leftist, was the last in line, was the dumbest, and the military person, I believe, is third. It's a YouTube video that they tested a wide varieties of people. I believe the Asian person was first, then I think a white woman was second, and then the military guy with only a high school degree was third, and that far leftist person thought he was going to be the dumbest person in the world because he went to the military. Boy. Whew. Oh man, it was just so sweet to see someone so cocky and so arrogant be the dumbest of the group. And don't get me wrong, there were other. It seemed like it went from left to right. I don't know what. Like the dumbest were far left, and I don't know. The Asian didn't seem like, I couldn't tell his political spectrum. The woman maybe right leaning. The military person right leaning, because you can kind of tell where they lean in the political spectrum based on how they present themselves and their ideas. That's why I like studying humans, because I can read people to a very small degree. And the others, you can tell like hair color and kind of their attitudes. You can tell where they kind of lean. But yeah, I'm just so happy, honestly, that person who was so arrogant was the dumbest of the group. And to see that the soldier who only had a high school degree got third. I think they took some kind of test. I can't remember. It's supposed to measure intelligence. While I don't believe there's any one particular test that can measure the entirety of your intelligence, because I don't think there's just one for that. I think there's many ways to measure intelligence, and you have to probably do all of them to get a good idea of where you really fall into.
That's why it's a smartphone. You call somebody smart only because it's smarter than you, isn't it? Hello?
Speaking about that real quick, I used to rebel to remember so many people's phone numbers. With a smartphone now, I'm a dumb phone.
You will say somebody is smart. Why? He's smarter than you. That's why you're calling somebody as smart. If he was not smarter than you won't say he is smart, isn't it so? You will say he's dumb. So phone has become smarter than you simply because your idea of education is just to remember a few things. By reading 10 books, somebody becomes a scholar. By reading 100 books, somebody becomes a doctor. By just reading one book, somebody becomes a representative of God.
Wow.
Yes, unfortunately.
I will say this though, in defense to those people, I don't want to discount that at all, because there is something to learn about our past. My only problem is the people who are so arrogant to think that they're smarter than everyone else because they have a PhD in one subject. And don't get me wrong, it takes a long time to really have a hard focus. So yeah, you can give it up to them saying, oh yeah, you are the master of whatever you PhD'd on, but kind of dumb on everything else. And that's the difference that I've found so far between the left and the right. The far left, or the left just in general tends to be more intelligent in terms of memory, and the far right tends to be more wisdom. But you look at the people that's left and right leaning, they tend to be balanced between wisdom and intelligence. It's the far extremes that just tends to be like, they go way too far into like no memory and full-on memory kind of deal. And it's just, again, I always generally speak as in extremes, but the middle tends to be a balance of intelligence and or wisdom and intelligence is what I like to say. Wisdom is Sadhguru, intelligence are people with books, knowledge.
This is the best qualification you can get. By reading one book, you become God's representative on the planet. Fantastic, isn't it? So, all those people who are living by memory are going to feel utterly stupid in the next 5–10 years. It's time you do some inner engineering to be relevant in this world, otherwise you'll become irrelevant. They're inviting me to all kinds of artificial intelligence conferences in the world, and they're asking me to speak about this and that. I said, why are you inviting me to artificial intelligence? I'm not artificial intelligence. They say, no, Sadhguru, the problem is what will we do? Professors and scholars and others, they're worried, what will we do? Well, you'll have nothing much to do, you'll be of no significance, it's just like this.
Enjoy life.
See, let's say 500 years ago, if you had really big muscles like that, we would make you king of Bangalore because you're so muscular. Today, maybe we'll put you at the gate of this hotel as a security man. That's the best job you can get. So I'm saying, bouncer. So, man's muscle lost relevance because why? Machines came, isn't it? The power of the machine neutralized man's muscle. This is the reason why so many women are sitting here today.
Relevant to the stuff I watched on YouTube today about stuff about that, and these are the things I think about also. Really weird stuff just about how men have developed this world to kind of put themselves in a how do I say this, to make themselves obsolete. And I mean, it's because now our muscles are not as valuable as they once were, and they still are in the home. Obviously, you can't always have freaking heavy machines or put, you know, need to hire people to build stuff. You can do that on your own, so it's not completely obsolete. But and my biggest issue is the fact that women don't appreciate, at least in the Western world, women don't appreciate men as much as it used to be. I mean, most women do, honestly, but I fear that it is growing, that these women are not appreciative of men. And don't get me wrong, men also, there are men out there who don't appreciate women. We're in the same boat here, and we do have to understand that. And we need to appreciate men for sacrificing their lives to protect, you know, their home world and to protect the women and whatnot. And we need to appreciate women for the for how to say, nurturing these men, because at least in the West, women tend to have custody over the children. So if there's ever a split, the women would have the custody of the children. And if women think that the world's becoming trash today, well, who do you want to blame? The men or the women who raised these men? Just saying, you know, just saying. But obviously, it all depends on the family and individuals. Obviously, if the father was completely trash, you know, it's the father to blame, and the woman has to take blame to a degree for choosing such a bad guy. And of course, we blame that guy specifically for being a completely utter trash of a guy, a man. He's not even a man. And then, of course, if a man chooses a bad woman, we have to put partial blame on a man. People need to vet their partners out. And of course, the woman needs to take blame on that too for being a trash woman. So again, we have to appreciate each other because we live in this world together. And because of the comforts that we have by the sacrifices that men and women have done in the past, that we live in such a very comfortable future that now we're just becoming so, I don't know, entitled. I think that's the best way to say it.
Not because of some liberalization that's happened. Simply technology, machines came and neutralized the power of man's muscle, and suddenly women also can come and sit here. Yes, that's a reality. Now people who have, instead of muscle, now the focus has shifted to memory. Those who have a certain amount of memory, they're strutting around. Even when I was in school, I always wondered, these people who just read a book a few years ahead of me, why are they strutting around like they're superior human beings? All this nonsense will go with artificial intelligence. You need to have something worthwhile within you, not memory. If you say something from your memory, I will pull out my little gadget, it knows everything that you know. Today, nobody is consulting their grandparents and parents for anything, they're asking Alexa, tell me this. Yes or no? So, you need to understand this, that clarity will come to you only when you're not contaminated by memory. When you know how to keep your memory aside and simply look at things. This needs little training. Your education systems have messed you up, making you misunderstand memory as intelligence. Intelligence is a different dimension, memory is a different dimension. These two things, if you hold it separately, you will be crystal clear every moment of your life.
I will say though, there is still something to say about going to school. It is absolutely needed. In the past, I do believe a lot of, more specifically, I guess the religious people, because they had the Bible and it's like, I can read the Word of God. And if you can't read, then, God's gonna, like, if you don't follow my commands because I'm reading the Word of God, you're gonna get punished. And that intelligence it was used to control people. So we still do need schools, absolutely, but the thing that I will say is that we can't say that schools are absolute. And this is something that I've been saying for a while, but I just it's not in the same sense as Sadhguru, but it's just because I'm noticing people saying, oh, they need to teach how do you do taxes in school, oh, they need to teach my kids this and that. It's like all the things that they're complaining about are things that personally I believe that their parents should be teaching. It's mostly life stuff. And I do believe schools' responsibility is only to teach you arithmetic, the language, and science, and the school stuff that's teaching right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I think taxes should be taught in the schools, but yeah, I mean just the basic stuff, and that's what school really is at the moment. People are complaining, "Oh, schools only teach you this and that," which is just so basic. It's like, yes, life is complicated. Schools cannot teach you life. You have to learn life and learn from your parents because they have personal experience, and also you don't want the teachers to teach your child their experience, or maybe use their experience to change the mind of your child. You yourself should be teaching your child that, and all the teachers are supposed to do is teach you the subject matter without bias.
I hope the Karnataka Premier League… I've never watched Karnataka Premier League matches, maybe I'll get to watch something.
We'd be grateful if you could come for the finals at Mysore.
When is that?
It's on the first of September.
Whoa. So you want me to start the rally 2 days early? We want to be in Coorg on 2nd, I think it's possible. What is it? It's 2020. Lit, is it?
Yeah.
Flood lit, in the evening. I think I'm there then, 1st September. Positive.
Ground is beautifully made in the middle of the university.
Which is the ground you're playing?
The place the Mysore University has given us the ground.
But that's not… there's no grass in it. I've played. Now is it?
Now we
Oh, we all played on rough ground and half my knee skin have left there. Huh? Okay, anyway, what do you call it? KPL, Premier League. So, we wish you all the best. I heard that it's on till 2009, right? That's what they said. So, let this happen. I think finals I'll be there. 1st September I'm on the way anyway. So, it's important that the cricketing world stands up for this, and this is not one day's work. As I said, this Kaveri is a 12-year project. I feel in a matter of 5 to 6 years, if we have pushed it to a certain volume, the rest of the country and the rest of the rivers and river basins will pick it up by themselves. It's bound to happen. We will make certain policy changes at the center level, but the problem is, river is a concurrent subject. That is between the center and state. Center can only recommend, it's the state that needs to act. So the political scenario in the country is such now, most of the states are ruled by one party. I think this is the best time to make it happen. because if we convince the center, it can happen on all these states quite effortlessly. So we're… that way, I think politically, we're in a good space for national movement, but we need to show Karnataka and Tamil Nadu has this responsibility of showing a massive level of success. Then only it will take off everywhere else.
Namaskar, I'm Sadhguru. I just wanted to ask you one thing. What are your views on the Mekidatu project which is being planned by the Karnataka government, and it is said that the Karnataka government is claiming that it will end the Bangalore water woes, but it is vehemently opposed by the Tamil Nadu state government, and it's also said that this project will wipe out 52 square kilometers of core forest area. I just wanted to know how this Kaveri Calling initiative will address this.
See, everywhere in the world, people have understood what is the science of hydrology, and whatever they did 100 years ago, they're all changing it. In the United States, over 900 major dams have been decommissioned because they see this is the most disastrous thing you can do. In India's geography, almost there's simply no room for building more dams unless you want to completely destroy everything. You must understand, an average temperature of over 32 to 35 degrees when it is there, if you hold water in a large lake, the evaporation in about 90 days is approximately 65%.
I swear, I'm genuinely amazed of how Sadhguru can know all of this stuff. He claims to be not smart, but I think he's lying. Sadhguru, you're lying about your intelligence. You're a freaking very… Then again, you know, I mean, this is his campaign that he's doing, so I would assume that he would know a lot about, like, holding water and all the options. Again, like you said, he thinks of all the problems, and I'm sure he thought of many different solutions and what would be the best. I mean, getting trees planted in a way to not only save the water, save the rivers, and save the farmers' economy, all three in one. A dam won't do that. A dam will save the water, maybe not so much in the forest and not so much of the farmers, but three things in one he's knocking out.
So you want to evaporate all the land, all the water that is flowing through this. This is all knee-jerk kind of thing. So you're only talking further about how to exploit more. Instead of seeing how to revitalize, we are still thinking how to exploit more. Because most governments unfortunately think election to election. There is no long-term thought. But we must understand ecological situations have to be thought 50 to 100 years at least 50 to 100 years. You can't think 3 to 4 years. This is 3 to 4 year thought. Right now we're in power. The problem is just this. See, if a particular government or all of you, if you plant millions of trees, your nameplate will not grow on the tree. That's a problem with the tree. But if you build a dam, you can carve it on the stone and put it there. Many dams in Karnataka have gone dry, all right, already. But your nameplate is there. This foolish man built this dam. I want you to understand, there was a time when the English suddenly left us in 1947, there's no infrastructure in the country. Something had to be done to survive. That time we did desperate things, built all kinds of dams, whatever. It's okay what we have done, we don't have to do post-mortem of that. But that time is over. Now there is a whole deeper understanding of everything, how it works. Now you're still talking about what we did 50 years ago and say, I will do the same thing. Because you have no sense of what's happening now in the world. And this is a tropical country. Holding water is not the solution. We need to generate water in the groundwater. We must understand India is the only country which is exploiting over 80% of groundwater. I'll tell you my experience in Bangalore.
Sorry, I've been trying to find the right time to pause it. But yeah, this is the reason why we need intelligence memory, because him remembering the fact that dams does not work. This is why I don't want to necessarily discount everything in terms of memory in the past, because it's good to reference the past to see what did and did not work. But there's a lot of things that you have to take account of in the present as well. But it's nice to have both the ability to see what's needed in the present, with the information from the past to calculate what's the best approach for the future.
This is almost 40 years ago when I was running a construction business, and we got some contract in Majestic area. We were supposed to put concrete columns. We just dug 5-6 feet. It's full of water. You won't believe this. Every pit we put 10 HP diesel engine motors, but we could not empty the water. We could not put concrete into that. That's how it was. Today, I don't know, maybe you have to go 500 feet at least. Huh? In this city area? 1,000 feet. So, you know what you have done.
Okay, I do wonder how this campaign of his went. I'm sure it's quite successful. I'm hoping at least, even if it wasn't completely successful, that it did in fact start. And it's again a great example. If you say, hey, I need to do another movement or whatever, you can go to the past movements and see how successful it is and how much the people pull together for it. And if people pull together for it, you can convince the government to do a lot of things. Just because they say, oh man, you know, all politicians just think of elections, and if they make a lot of people mad, they're not getting elected. So, with Sadhguru, with a large movement behind them, can get bribe, in a sense, politicians to do what he wants. It's like, oh, you know, or the politician's like, oh crap, well there goes 8 million votes I'm not getting. I guess you know, he's kind of how do I say, blackmailed into it? Not blackmailed. I don't know what the right word is, but you know what I'm talking about. He has to do it if he wants to get elected, basically. It's kind of sad, but it's the truth. So anyways, that's my reaction to the final episode of KL Rahul in conversation with Sadhguru. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.